Good day, Alabama. Welcome back in. 7:47 now. Are you on track to retire when you want to? How do you know if you are? And if you are behind, is it possible to play catch up? Well, Stewart Welch is our expert, our regular guest here on Good Day Alabama from the Welch Group, and he joins us with some of the answers to those questions. Good morning.
Good morning, Janice.
Those are loaded questions, Stewart.
They are loaded questions. Well, this came about because Fidelity just came out with a study. They have 30 million savers, retirement savers, so they have a pretty good pool of people to look at. And they were looking at them and saying, what is the average amount that they've saved for retirement? And the average was about $100,000. And people that have been saving for 5 years, it saved like $200,000, 10 years, $300,000, 15 years, $400,000. You can kind of see where this goes.
So when you're talking about savings, you're talking about investment savings. Like,
yes.
Yeah, not savings.
Yeah,
like
so this is like in 401k.
Sure.
This is primarily in 401k. And I think it's interesting to compare yourself. Am I at average, above average, below average? But it's really the wrong question.
Why is that the wrong question?
Well, it's the wrong question because what the 95% of the people have less than they need for retirement. Okay. And so the better question is, am I on track for my retirement? And it kind of leads to the question is, how much do I need for retirement? How much should I be saving for retirement?
How do you find that out?
So I think you could start with, if you said, gosh, what should it be? I'd start with my income now.
Okay.
And say, well, if I'm making $100,000 now, maybe I want around $100,000 when I retire. And so you could start with that. Maybe it's a little less. Maybe your retirement spending you think will be a little less. Maybe you think your retirement spending is going to be a little more because you really want to travel and things like that. But let's just start at where your current income is, because most people, that's what they're living on. Okay.
So, and the average salaries in this country, depending on where you are, can be $40,000. So if that's what you're used to living on, then that's what you would look for retirement.
That's exactly right. So that's really a good point. So if you said, I want a $40,000 a year at retirement, what does that equate to in terms of how big a pot I need? And it's about $1 million. So for every $40,000 of income that you want in retirement, you're going to need to save about $1 million.
Okay, you know that sounds very daunting when you say that to people.
It does sound, well, but again, if you go back to the Fidelity and the people have been saving for 30 years, they put together $300,000. Here's kind of an interesting thing. If you're 10 years away from retirement, just think about it. If you're 10 years away, you need to be at about 50% of your goal. So you'd need to be, in this case, about $500,000. You need to save that much.
Okay.
And that's assuming that you're continuing to put money into your 401k and you're at least 60% stocks.
And that's assuming the market does stay working the way we want it to, right?
Well, that I would actually trust. So think if you're 20 years away, you need to be at about 25% of that goal. And if you're 30 years away, you need to be at about 10% of the goal. Most people are going to find out they're short, but the whole point of the exercise is to stop and think, because you need to get started. What really works for you is time, if you can get money going.
And don't panic, because if you're not there, we all got to learn to live with what we got. So some helping tools to help you get there as we wrap up.
Yep, that's it. So I think the main thing is to get focused on what am I saving, how can I increase it. When you get a raise, take half of that raise and put it into your retirement savings. Take the other half and use it to spend, increase your lifestyle. If you keep doing that, you keep targeting save, 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 you'll end up being fine.
All right, Stewart Welch from the Welch Group. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Jan.
All right.